Domain is always your X and your range is always your Y. So what you want to do is you want to scan your pencil from, if you're dealing with your X-axis, which way does your X-axis go? This is your X-axis. So it goes from left to right. So this goes from left to right. Along which axis? The X-axis. All right. For your range, you're going from up and down. So we're always going to start from the bottom to the top. So bottom to the top along the Y-axis. Okay, so your range is left to right. Your domain is left to right. Your range is up and down. Okay, now let's see if we can write out the domain. So what you want to do is first step is you want to find your arrow. So find the end. I guess we'll make this points. Find the ends of your arrows or slash line, just in case they don't draw it out. So find the ends of your arrows and line, circle them. So here's an end, here's an end. Okay, so after you find the ends of your arrow line, circle them. Bam. Okay, now we're going to find the domain, which is you're scanning your pencil from left to right along the X-axis. So you're going to start on the left, okay, and you're scanning it like this. So what does this arrow mean? This arrow means this line goes forever, this direction. So that means no matter where you want to start, on this left-hand side, it's going to go forever. And the way to say that in mathematical terms, if it goes forever in the negative direction, it's going from negative infinity. Let's check color in the word domain. Negative infinity, and then you're scanning from left to right along the x-axis, so you're going like this. And the question you want to ask yourself, is there a graph? Yes, there's a graph, 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 there's a graph. Now it doesn't stop here, right? It's just that we would be here forever. What is it doing? It's going this way forever, right? Which means it's going like this forever. So if I'm going big, 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 big forever, I'm heading to positive infinity. So all infinity means is it's a number so big that we can't even write it down. It's like goes on forever. So your domain from left to right is it goes on forever this way and it goes on forever that way, which means it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. The other way that they can write that in a question is all real numbers, and that's the symbol for all real numbers. That means all the numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. All right, your range is going to be from, scan your pencil from bottom to top. So what you want to do is you want to start at the bottom. Is there a graph there? No. So you scan it all the way until the graph starts. The graph starts right there. And that's what you're going to include. So what number is this right here in terms of the y-axis? This is -2. So your range starts from -2. And my question is, does it include this point? Yes, because a closed circle means it includes that point. An open circle means that it doesn't. So because it includes that point, you're going to do a closed bracket. If it was open, you would do open parentheses. Kind of like what we did here. These are not real numbers, and that's why it's an open bracket or an open parenthesis, however you want to say that. So then you scan your pencil from bottom to the top along the y-axis. So it starts right there. As I go up, is there a graph? Yes, 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 yes. Now, does the graph stop right here? No, because these arrows are telling you it goes on forever this way, forever that way. That means I can keep going up like this and I'll never run out of graph. And so what number is this in the y direction? If I keep getting bigger, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 150, where am I going? I'm going towards infinity, positive infinity. Just remember the positive infinity, because it's not technically a number, is always going to be an open parenthesis, okay? Which means this curvy one. So the range is from -2, meaning the graph starts at -2 and goes on forever that way. All right, let's take a look at another example. All right, so domain, find the ends of your arrow. So I don't see any ends because this is a circle, right? So I'm not going to actually, there's nothing I can do with that. Domain says scan your pencil from the left to your right. So you start on the left. Is there a graph here? No. How about here? No. Here? No. Here? No. Here. So it starts right here. So that's what you begin with. This is my starting point. So domain is my starting point along the x-axis. I'm only interested in these values along the x-axis. What is this value right here? Well, it is -1, -2, -3.
This is a listening check. Color in the circle in the graph.
It includes that point. Meaning, is it open or closed? It's closed because you can see it's shaded in. So that means you will do a closed bracket or closed parentheses. All right, now the question is, where does it stop? So you keep going, you're scanning your pencil from left to right along the x-axis until you don't see a graph. So there's a graph right there, right here, and right here. There's a graph right there, right here, right here. And bam, it stops right there. Okay, so what is this point? Again, we're only looking at the x-axis. 1, 2, 3. Does it include that point? Yes. Why? Because it is closed. So that means it is closed. Okay, range is scan your pencil from bottom to top along the y-axis. So starting from the bottom, you're going to go up to the top. Is there a graph? No. Graph, no, 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 no. Yes. So it starts right here, and this is -3. Does it include this point right here? Yes. Why? Because it's shaded in, so that's closed. And then you keep going. Is there a graph? Yes, there's one here, 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 until we get to this point here. And after that point, there's no more graphs. So this is 1, 2, 3. So this is 3. Does it include this? Yes, because it's closed. So that is my range. Okay. Maybe it gets takes a little getting used to. So practice makes perfect. All right, so again, find the ends of your arrow. So here are my arrows, circle them. So circle them, circle them. That means it goes on forever this way, forever that way. So let's start with domain. Domain is scan your pencil left to right. So left, no matter where I start, because this goes on forever, you see how there's a graph? It's gonna get to my pencil. So it goes on forever this way towards the negative numbers. So that's gonna be -infinity. Open, because this is not an actual number. And then I keep scanning my pencil left to right. Where does it stop? Okay, it doesn't stop because it goes on forever this way. And as long as I can move to the right, I'll find a graph. So that's towards which numbers? +infinity, open parentheses, because that doesn't include a number. Another way to write that, remember, is all real numbers. Okay, what about the range?
This is a listening check. Put a box around the word range.
From the bottom to the top. So the question is, at the bottom here, is there a graph? Yes. Why? Because the arrows are telling you it goes on forever this way. So there's a graph right here. So what numbers are these on the y-axis all the way at the bottom? They're going to be -infinity. And now I start moving from the bottom to the top along the y-axis. So I move to the top, I move. Is there a graph? There's a graph here, there's a graph here, there's a graph here, there's a graph here, graph, until I get to this point. After this point, there's no graph. So it stops right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stops at 6. Does it include this number 6? Yes, because it's it's shaded in. So my range is -infinity to +6. All right, last example. Find the ends of the arrow and line and circle them. That means it goes on forever this way, forever that way. Find the domain. You're scanning from left to right. Again, starting from the left, you see the graph, because it goes on forever, there's a number right there. So that starts on where? -infinity. Open, because -infinity is always open. And then you're scanning left to right. See, there's a graph, there's a graph, there's a graph. My pencil's going to hit a graph. And because it goes on forever this way, I'm going to hit a graph no matter where I go, all the way to +infinity. Again, open, because infinity and -infinity are not actual numbers. All right, range, we're scanning from the bottom. So starting at the bottom, is there a graph? Yes, because this goes on forever this way. So there's a graph at the bottom, which is what? -infinity. Open. And then you start moving it from the bottom to the top. And you can see, even past this arrow, because the arrow goes on forever, there's a graph up there, which means there's a graph at +infinity. Open parentheses, because those are not numbers. And again, whenever you have -infinity to infinity, they can write that as all real numbers. It just depends on which kind of questions you're looking at.